Okay. All right. So, all right, guys, we're here with Steve Murphy from Whiteboard IT out in Buffalo, New York. Steve, I'm really glad you're here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Josh.
All right. Well, you are officially guest number one if you didn't realize that.
I'm
So
honored.
that's right. So when they're looking through the archives of thousands of these recordings one day, they will find that you are the OG. So excellent.
Excellent.
Steve, I'm going to jump in. I've got a question. I know you and I have known each other for quite a long time, but I'm going to ask a question I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
How did you get started in IT? Not just in owning a business, but how did you get started in IT in general?
Fell backwards into it.
Uh,
And I had a friend in grade school and high school actually was much more into technology than I was. Uh, he kind of showed me the ropes of what we were doing, and he had some side projects that he was working on. And then my uncle actually owned a printing shop, and overheard that I was getting into technology and asked if I would be interested in setting up their network. That was their first network, so this is back in the 90s. And so not knowing what I was saying yes to at the time, I said okay. So we set it up, and I was still in high school, 18. And so we set up their network, and my friend and I, we ended up at college together, and we didn't want to get jobs, so he said we should probably look for jobs at some point. I said I don't want to work for anyone, and so I just said, well, let's start a business. And my family had kind of a history in business and doing entrepreneurship, whatnot. So we really didn't know what we were starting at the time, and that's kind of how I fell into it. And the rest is history, as they say.
yeah, for sure. And did you go kind of right into that experience in college and first job was owning a business, or did you take a different route to starting and owning a business?
Yeah, I actually, it's a little weird, but I never really actually worked for anyone. I started a business, and that's all I knew. There was definitely points at which I tried to get out of it, and I did go and interview for places, and just wasn't sure if this was ever going to take off. But yeah, so that was it. I never had another job besides this.
Wow. That's pretty cool. And so since this has been the only real job in your adult career, at least, you could probably answer this question really well. What's the biggest difference between your first year in business and today?
Um, Knowing where I'm going.
Um,
When I started, I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what the next day was going to bring. I didn't have ambition for what I was growing to. Um, I didn't even know. I wasn't even thinking about hitting numbers or anything to that effect. It was literally just survival. It was just get the next job and worry about everything else later. Um, I think now it's a much more, and I think that's kind of just an age and maturing thing as well. Is just as you get older, you kind of know what you want out of life. It's the same thing for me in business. I now very much know where I'd like to go, as opposed to just winging it every day.
okay. All right. Well, then that's a nice, knowing where you're going. Let me ask you this. Uh, what does success in this business look like to you now?
Now it's am I hitting my numbers? It's kind of being conscientious of an exit strategy and what I need to build up to be there. Again, it's more I think in line with aging. It's just you know your limits, you know your mortality, and so it's very much looking at this vehicle that is supposed to be my retirement and what I need to get there. So it's much more about is this thing operating the way I need it to get me where I want to go.
Okay. So when I talk to business owners about where are you going, a lot of times um, when I ask them if they ever think about selling the business, I notice that uh, they don't get uncomfortable. They don't like visibly get uncomfortable or start sweating or anything like that. But but there's some subtle clues that they're uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
because I hear the same answers so many times of, I don't know what I'd do if I retired. I love to work. I can't imagine not working. And I kind of read that as like, that seems like a really safe answer to not have to set a goal. That seems like a really safe thing to say to kind of divert the question. Uh,
Yeah.
what do you
I
think about that?
my take on it, I think it's more semantics. I think everyone has this thing about retirement as being I do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't that's not how I translate retirement anyways. I look at retirement as just the end of this particular job. It
Mm,
doesn't mean I can't go on to something else. It doesn't, and whatever that ends up being. Some people, it's I want to stop working and putting in my 40 hours a week because I want to devote some of that time to family, community, whatever. I want to just get into consulting. I want to do a job that only requires 5 hours a week or whatever. I think most people, they hear that, what are you going to do in retirement? And it's, well, I don't want to just not do anything and just fade in to the distance
right.
in retirement. So that's been most of my conversations with fellow owners. And whenever I usually say, well, I'm going to do something, I can't just sit there, they fully understand where I'm coming from on that. My wife, on the other hand, does not understand that. Um, but I think being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, it you have a natural want to help and to do something and affect change. So I think you always are kind of looking for that no matter what. So
Mm.
if you take retirement as you can't do anything if you go into retirement, then I think that's where the trepidation starts with that question.
Yeah, that checks out. That checks out. And so I'm going to give you an analogy, and you kind of tell me what you think about it. I say, like flying a plane, every takeoff
Mhm.
is optional. Landings are not optional. Okay. So with a business, it's, you had the option to start a business or not start a business. So you
Okay.
made the choice, I'm going to start a business. The end is for you not optional. There will be an end. And I kind
Correct.
of envision there's, you can, hit the intended airport you started thinking you wanted to go to. You can have an off airport landing, you can have a total crash and burn. But if we kind of think of an airport landing, I think of, you can now turn left and go to the terminal where somebody gives you a check for your business, and whatever happens after that is whatever happens.
Mhm.
Or you can go to the terminal to the right, which is, you turn into an owner instead of an operator, and you just cash cow this thing. Like,
Yep.
I haven't figured out if there's a third terminal yet or not. Maybe if there is,
The
somebody
DB
shared it.
Cooper option.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Eject and vanish. So if you think of that analogy, what will you, do you think you would be more likely to turn to the left terminal and cash that business out, or would your goal be more in line with, I want this thing to go on a really long time, at well after I'm going to be working in it every day? Where in this moment are you more geared towards?
Yeah, I think that's the important thing is in this moment, I'm much more that lifestyle. I would not be interested in really cashing out immediately. I do enjoy the work. I enjoy the industry. I enjoy the advantages it offers. And it's very much it's relevant both professionally and personally. So just keeping up with technology and that sort of thing. So I still love it, and I think
Mm,
that's the major piece for me. Is I've known plenty of owners who have sold, and it was very consistent that they were done with it. It wasn't exciting to them anymore. It wasn't they didn't love it. Um, and I think that would be the biggest decision. If I made a change in my mindset right now, that would be definitely part of it.
mm,
Is if I walked in the morning and I didn't love every second of what I'm doing, then I would probably change my mind. I would sell pretty quickly.
mm.
But right now, I'm comfortable and I enjoy it, and I'd like to keep going.
All right. So with loving it, there are moments when we're getting beat up pretty good, and other moments when we're riding high.
Yep.
What's something that nearly broke your business, but you worked through it?
The biggest thing was this is going back a little ways now, almost 10 years. We gained a client, and it was kind of one of those unicorn clients. It was much larger than any of our other clients and ended up becoming um, uh, the majority of our revenue and profitability for that matter. They went under abruptly.
Mm,
And we were left holding the bag. We were heavily indebted on them, and um, it it was catastrophic. I had to let go of the majority of my staff very rapidly, um, and you know my debt with them is my debt to all my vendors and all that. So we had to dig out of that, and it was easily the most traumatizing thing I had to go through with business. And it's weird. You just know in that moment it's survival. I just step at a time, and I had a lot of good guidance at that point, which was very nice. But that that taught me a lot of lessons, and things that I conscientiously now plan my business around is to make sure I don't get locked in on one, golden egg opportunity, and it's just
mm.
there's a lot of shiny objects out there, and the hardest thing is saying no. So that was definitely the hardest thing that I had to learn in my years of doing this.
Well, so that I think that brings up an excellent question: is how do you decide what to say yes to and what to walk away from as you grew and as you continue to grow?
Um, it's that weird when you know thing. We actually just recently had a client. We were talking about moving them to Microsoft Teams phones. We were talking for 4 months, and every question they asked, it was basically something the technology doesn't do.
Mm,
Um, and it got to a point where one of my account managers asked me, how's it going? And I said, I feel bad every time I'm talking to this client about this solution because I just know it's the wrong fit. And, yeah, we could use it. It would be good money. It's a good project. All the numbers check out right. But I just have a very bad feeling that this is going to come back to bite us in the ass.
mm,
And so I called the client. I just said, I kind of had a conscientious moment. I'm like, I don't want to sell this to you.
mm,
And he was taken aback by it and somewhat flippant on the way on after that call. And then he called me a day later and actually completely different tune. He goes, "That took a lot of." He's like, "I've never had a vendor actually do that." Um, so he goes, "I'm sorry if I overreacted or whatever." And uh, but he said that you actually that shows you care, and it wasn't about the sale. And I just I don't want an angry client. What am I going to do? I'm going to get a good deal and then have you just be angry at me and think I'm, pulling the wool over your eyes the rest of the relationship. Um, and he goes, no, he's like, I've never thought about it like that. So he was kind of giving me props for backing out of that. But it really came from that gut feeling. Just
yeah.
it's not right, and it's not everything isn't right. It's just again, it was good money. It's a good deal at the end of the day, but in this case, it just wasn't worth it. So I think you have to listen to your conscience, and you have to be thinking about longevity in what we do anyways. It's not just one thing. I'm not just selling one widget and then I'm out of there. It's an ongoing relationship, so you got to be thinking about it more. Would I do this to a friend? you
Mm.
know we're gonna have beers later. Are they gonna not like me at that point? So I think that's kind of how I look at it, as far as how I kind of look at my decision making on those things.
Listen into your gut and treat them like you there. That's your friend, and you're gonna have to face them over beers eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. I know I in what I'm a terrible buyer. Like I'm a salesperson's like dream come true. And my only way to begin to protect myself is to really kind of test them with just stop the pitch, pretend I'm your best friend, and tell me what I should do. And
Yep.
and you can tell pretty quick when when a salesperson has the ability or maturity to even do that, and then kind of filter out, are they really getting into this role of I'm your friend, just tell me what I should do, not just what you want to sell me. It's
Exactly. And it's everyone knows that difference. They know that type A salesperson, it's what's it going to take for me to get you into one of these today.
right.
Um, and I think that's about style. I think it's about personality. And I wear it on my sleeve, and I've found that methodology, anyways, and that way of being, it earns their trust, and the sales will come. It's a much more casual way of sales. It's not your go hit the numbers, get on the phones and call. I mean, I'm not the Wolf of Wall Street here, so um, but again, it's the whole thing is I'm going to be there at the end of the day, and it's an ongoing relationship with managed clients. Um, you wrong someone, they remember that stuff,
Oh,
and it can affect the future sales and that type of thing. So it's personally just a way I operate, and right or wrong, it still gets results, it still gets sales, but it's not for the wrong reasons.
that's right. Steve, what is a change in the MSP market that you're paying close attention to right now, or what
Um,
changes in the MSP market are you paying attention to right now?
so the buzzword now is AI. What I'm actually watching on it is the security aspects of it. And I had 3 prospect calls yesterday. Every single one of them is, what are you guys doing with AI? How can you help me? Put AI in. What are we doing with AI? Um, I personally feel that there is a lot of smoke around AI, as far as there's everyone talking about it, but what I'm actually seeing that's being developed is not impressive to me, or at least it's not wowing me. And I think that's a side effect of this being in this industry. I always joke is I go to Disney and nothing amazes me because I know how it works. I know the guy behind the curtain. Um, but it's amazing to me how every time in this industry, the new buzz thing that comes out, it is the immediate trigger to forget all the fundamentals. And
Mhm.
so security is the biggest thing. Just people not understanding where their data is, how this is affecting their data, how it's pushing information out into places that they didn't intend it to go to, but once it's out, it's out. And so it's been a combination of artificial intelligence and security.
Okay, so you're paying close attention to them, and it sounds like you've got some pretty strong filters on to make sure you don't get caught up in the hype of it right now.
Yeah, it's always been my approach with technology. I don't get into bleeding edge stuff. I usually let it, and this has been, it's always a safety mechanism. And at the end of the day, it's always worked out for us is don't be afraid to be a year late. Don't be afraid to be
Mhm.
2 years late in this industry. You're not going to miss the boat. You're not, no, the hype is the worst thing. It's the marketing sales tactics around it. It's uh, you know, slap a name on everything. Everything's got AI on it, but what does that actually mean? What are you doing with it? Is it just faster automation? Is it truly actually doing something for you? Um, I've often found that with new uh, technologies, and AI is nothing new. This has been around for a very long time. It's the marketing department got a hold of it recently, and now it's all over the place. But I always have a running joke that nothing new has been invented in IT since about the 80s. Um, but yeah, it's mostly smoke, but it's sticking to fundamentals. It's always going back and understanding how does this stuff really work, what is it based on, um, that type of thing. But we were slow to the game. You know, we moved to 365 much later than our competitors did. But the thing that I always hear back from them was, "Oh, well, you got on when the administrative interface finally started functioning." It's like, so you guys have just been struggling through this the whole time. They're like, yeah, and so being a little bit late is okay, and I think that's what most people fight, is that we're all teenage versions of ourselves the rest of our lives, but it's just what's the hip thing, what's the new shirt, what's the new sneakers that everyone's wearing, what's the new it terminology, um, and everyone just wants to feel like they're part of the group and they're doing the cool thing. I've never cared about those things. I'm not wired that way. So that's kind of how I feel about what's going on in AI right now.
Right on. Well, then let me ask a similar question: is what tool, what framework, what strategy has made the biggest impact in your business in the last couple of years?
I think definitely where 365 has gone, their entire ecosystem, we, just like everyone else, have continued to explore it and find new ways that it can help business and do things more efficiently. I think that's probably been the single largest uh, product or thing that we focused on using more of, and we actually are seeing that we get something out of. Um, so
All right. Well, Steve, I've got two more questions for you, and then we're going to do something really fun and do some hot takes here.
okay.
Uh, Let me ask you this: what let's see, how do I phrase it? What advice would you give to an MSP that's just hit that $1 million in revenue? If you can kind of think back to when you hit that mark, what advice would you give them? They maybe don't know what comes next, or what changes happen from there. What advice would you give them?
Um, Plot your strategy and fill in the pieces you're missing. So at a million, you have a smaller staff. It's probably mostly technicians. Um, you are at an inflection point where you have to begin thinking about, um, how are you going to scale, and you're not going to get there until you probably at a next level between 3 and 5, but you probably need to start thinking of a management layer and
Mm,
who you need to hire, and uh, it's it's tough because all you're looking at that point is, okay, I got a couple techs, I'm able to manage the number of accounts and all that sort of thing. You have to get to a point where you are uncomfortable, but you need to know what is the next hire I'm going to do and
mm.
why and what that person needs to fill. That's probably my biggest advice for someone at that size, and it's scary.
Right, right. Yeah, you don't get much time to celebrate that big milestone. You got to roll right
No,
into plotting your strategy.
yeah,
All right, I
it's
love it.
and be purposeful.
Be purposeful. I love it. All right, and final question here is: what's a tool or a technology that you still love, even though most would consider it outdated?
Hmm. I was going to say just a good Google search, but I think um, pad and paper.
Okay. Nice.
I still do not take laptops into meetings with prospects or clients. I still write everything down. My shorthand is still faster than anything I can type,
Yes.
and for some reason, it's still the most versatile thing. It's if I need to draw something, if I need to explain something, I'm big into visualization. Having a pen and paper around me, I can do more with that than anything else. It's inadvertently where the name of the company came from. We were jokingly running out of name ideas, and my wife was talking to me and she goes, you love drawing on whiteboards and just explaining to people like it's you're whiteboarding their technology for them. You're drawing it up. You're drawing up the plan. Like, I wonder if Whiteboard IT Solutions is available. Um, and it was as simple as that. But yeah, I think it's anything where technology naturally people always go to what's a much more complicated way of doing a very simple thing. Sometimes the old ways are the best. And I'm sitting here staring at my pad and pen right now.
Yes.
And so I'm going to go pad and pen.
There you go. I love that answer. All right. So we're going to go into this kind of rapid fire mode now, Steve. And I love these questions. And give me one or two words in an answer. If you need to elaborate more, go right ahead.
Yeah.
But we'll go with the first one. ConnectWise, Autotask, or neither?
ConnectWise, reluctantly.
Reluctantly. One PSA feature you would kill off forever or change?
Uh, um, project management.
Okay, got it. Uh, have you built some automations in some sort of RMM, you personally?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like workflow rules, stuff like that, we've definitely introduced that level of automation. And
Okay.
then oh,
So
sorry.
the question is, what's your favorite automation you've ever built?
Oh, what's my favorite automation?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, intake forms for just being able to send a client any sort of form that we need that fills in the data automatically inside of the PSA. Um, Anything that makes me not have to fill those in is the best thing I've done.
Outstanding. All right. Most overrated MSP tool.
Anything by Kaseya.
Okay, fair enough. Most underrated tool you can't live without.
Mm. Reporting. Lifecycle insights is what we currently use for that. But the ability to aggregate data meaningfully into a report that clients actually resonate with is I'll never I'll never go away from that.
Nice, nice. Documentation, love it or hate it.
Love it. Need
All
it.
right,
Must have.
must have. Dark mode or light mode.
Light mode.
Okay. Outsource knock or in house.
Outsource.
Okay, good deal. And firewall vendor of choice.
Uh, Total.
Total. Okay. All right. Gross profit or top line growth.
Gross profit.
All right. If I gave you $100,000 today, where would you invest it in your business? First instinct.
People.
Okay. What kind of people?
Specifically right now, high-end technicians. Level
High end technician.
threes. Yep.
Got it. Most expensive mistake you've ever made.
Mm. Well, it had to be that. Letting my biggest client be my biggest client.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. One financial KPI every MSP should track.
Billable utilization.
Billable utilization. All right, beautiful. All in on cybersecurity or still hedging?
All in on the right cybersecurity.
All right. On the right, cybersecurity. Okay. EOS, traction, or seat of your pants? Hmm.
Something other than the seat of your pants.
Okay. Fair enough. Hire for attitude or skills?
Attitude.
All right. One-on-one meetings, essential or a waste?
Essential.
Okay. Best leadership lesson you've learned the hard way?
Listen.
Listening?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. And do you consider yourself a technician, an operator, or a visionary?
I used to consider myself a tech. Uh, I don't know about a visionary,
Uh,
but an operator, I think, is a safe one to say I can get behind.
all right. True or false? No one actually reads the QBR decks.
No, false.
All right.
Mine do.
You do. All right. Your clients do. All right.
Yeah.
Is compliance the next MSP gold rush, or is it a dead end?
It might be for a short time.
Might be a gold rush for a short time.
Yep.
Okay. Uh, Last tech problem you couldn't fix yourself.
Uh, Last tech problem I couldn't fix for myself. There was a firewall issue we had. We replaced a firewall and we couldn't figure out what was going on with it. And we came back to it and it was working by itself. And we ended up doing a deep dive for about an entire day trying to figure out what ended up happening with it, which we did eventually figure out. But in the moment, I could not solve that technical problem, and it solved itself. So,
That's hilarious. All right. Coffee or energy drinks?
uh, coffee,
Mac or PC?
PC,
Work from home, blessing or curse?
curse.
All right. What time do you stop working each night? Truthfully,
Uh, I try and stop around 9.
around 9. Okay.
Yeah.
And you get one day off with 0 calls. What are you doing personally?
Uh, Getting out, going for a walk, going fishing, just getting out of a physical structure.
There you go. Awesome. Steve, that's it. You did it. Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Thank you,
Excellent,
sir.
man. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I love getting to know you even a little bit better. And I think we found some really fun stuff that other MSP owners will be able to resonate with. And
Awesome.
if anyone made it this far in the video, thanks for watching and drop us a line in the comments.
Thanks
Bye.
very much. See ya.